Are we about to get another sell off or are we going to see new highs? What is good, guys? Welcome back to another video. We got the stock market experiencing a slight decrease, ending a 2 week winning streak. Investors are optimistic about Donald Trump's return into the White House, but also the market is also uncertain about some things like the tariffs and other plans he has. So keep that in mind because some things can change with certain stocks depending on what restrictions and stuff like that he does. But we do got kind of kind of a less chance of getting tariffs, so that's good for some stocks. We got Nvidia down almost 3% or 3%. Tesla down almost 2%. We have some other stocks that are down. We were kind of closing pretty much a decent amount down. Meta is still strong. Google is still strong. I think so. Google recently, we have like a new AI thing with Google where you can actively talk to them. So Google has been increasing a lot. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about Google, and we've been reaching some highs with that. Broadcom is up, and some other stocks are just looking strong. But with that being said, let's start off with some news, and then we can get started with what is really going on. So with that being said, we can start off with some news, and then we'll talk about how the market is looking and some market trends and stuff like that. Right now, it is kind of looking like the market is on a little sell off, but we are in one of the biggest earnings. We are going to be getting some of the biggest companies' earnings next week. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about earnings in a second. Just want to talk about some things. So basically, Trump is kind of using the tariffs towards a way to get TikTok. So that's one of them. We do got a new Model Y coming out. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too. And just some other things too. Like we got the home sales drop in 2024, a level that has not been seen since the 90s. So that's pretty good, and just some other things too. For Getty Computing, we got it. We always see it either up a lot or down a lot. Today we kind of seen a 2% decrease, but recently, man, we've been seeing like 30% increases, 30% decreases. It's been kind of insane, moving insanely. We got Nvidia down a decent amount. I think we're like the 149 or something like that. But yeah, with that being said, let's talk about some of the earnings. So we do got SoFi coming out, some other companies. Mondays are really looking too big. We got some banks, stuff like that. But on Tuesday, so the airlines. So before I start, airlines are like a lot of airlines are showing record earnings as they bounce back from the pandemic. So just showing more flights, cheaper flights, stuff like that, just more profits. So keep that in mind for their earnings on Tuesday because we got a lot of jet companies, not really major airlines, but we got companies that make the airlines. So we got Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and some other ones too. So keep that in mind if you see some companies like that, and definitely airlines. So keep that in mind. But we also got Starbucks. We got to see how Starbucks look. I'm kind of pumped up to see that. And we got some other companies on the mark for Tuesday. But I think the key on Tuesday is probably Boeing and probably Logitech, honestly. On Wednesday, we definitely got some big companies. We got Tesla, we got Meta, we got Microsoft. So definitely on Wednesday, look at how the S&P moves because the S&P will switch because we got some of the biggest companies reporting some earnings. Definitely Tesla, definitely Meta, definitely Microsoft. Honestly, I'm kind of skeptical about Tesla. I think we might either see a big uptrend or a big downtrend with the earnings. Just right now, I think the thing about Tesla is like it's kind of pumped up just because of his reach with Trump. But with that being said, we're not really pumped up for numbers. So if the numbers aren't really looking too bright or just like directly on target, I think we might see a downtrend with Tesla. But if we see it beat expectations or get some good news, I think Tesla can go up, and we might see it maybe back at those like 460 levels. Maybe hopefully we're up again. But that's that's kind of to be determined basically. Next one is Meta. We've been growing a lot with Meta. Meta's been looking strong a little bit, so I think Meta might look good. Same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft's been pretty strong, but we just got to see how the earning numbers really look. But I'm very pumped for Wednesday. Wednesday has a big day. Same thing on Thursday. Honestly, Apple hasn't really been looking too good, but if we can get some decent numbers, we'll see Apple move in a big way to the upside or the downside. I'm more on the downside for Apple, but right now we've been seeing kind of like a bottom point at that 220 level. So we might, if we get some bad news, we might see it break that 220 and continue downward. So keep that in mind for Apple. I wouldn't even play any plays with this one, honestly. I'll just be patient and see how it moves. Next one is Intel. Intel did indeed get some decent news, so you've seen it go up a little bit. But if we can get some decent numbers from Intel, we might see Intel go up some more. Definitely keep your eye on Visa and some other companies too. Next one, I think Friday, I think mainly gas stocks, energy stocks, basically. So keep your mind on that. But with that being said, we're going to talk about Tesla's new refresh Model Y. With that being said, is basically just to boost the sales in US and globally. It's going to start at 60,000, which is still kind of insane, but not too insane for a Tesla, honestly. But it kind of looks cool, not even going to lie. So hopefully it is pretty decent and hopefully it brings up the numbers, but we will indeed see. It does look cooler though, cooler than the old Model Y, not even going to lie. And SPY is the best start since the presidential since 1985. We did see SPY hit some highs, I think like one, or sorry, not one, but 610 or something like that. So keep that in mind. But just like I said earlier with the airlines, it is some decent news that we're getting. So keep that in mind. But now we're going to look at some stocks. And yeah, one stock that I really want to look at is Rigetti. We are looking back up to the upside. This stock just moves so much like over time. So if you guys are like short-term traders, you guys can see the stock either move up or down by a decent amount. Like even if you played it here, you play a call, you got a decent amount and it moves pretty fast. Just like a few dollars at a time, but if you play some calls, you can see it up or down. So I recommend looking into this stock. I do think just depending on how everything goes, I know chip stocks kind of got some bad news with Nvidia kind of underhyping the demand. But with that being said, I think we can see this stock back up to the 16 level. Definitely at the 15 level by like Monday or Tuesday, but I'm looking at it for the 15 level to 16 level on Monday or Tuesday, and then maybe bouncing down again, and then just keep on bouncing up and down, kind of like what you've been seeing. It's kind of like a unfluent stock, but yeah. With that being said, we do have a constant downward trend with Tesla. I think we can maybe see it, maybe fall a little bit more depending on how earnings go. I think people might sell off depending on like on the way to earnings and just see how it goes. So I think people are just taking profit and just seeing how earnings go. And yeah, kind of pumped up for this stock, but same time, I would look at that 405 level going down 403 and definitely that 400 level. And 395 is going to be another key level, and definitely 393, 392, and then 390 finally to the downside if we do see that. And then earnings, it's going to go up or down $10, $20 instantly. So keep that in mind. But to the upside before earnings, I'll look at that 410 level once again, see if we can get a little break. Kind of failed right here. And we kind of failed right here too. We have two fail breaks right here. So I think 410 is going to be a key level. And then 415 is another key level. And then I think 420 going to the upside. Hopefully we can make it to that 420 and continue bullish and then get some good earnings, but we'll see. Nvidia is another stock that we had a big sell off on recently. So with that being said, I do see it on the downside right now. It can reverse, but on the downside, I'll look at 142, 140, 141.50, and then 141, and then down to that 140 level. So keep that in mind, and then probably even break it down lower, maybe 139, 138, but keep that in your mind. And then going to the upside, I believe we can try to hit that 142.8 level once again, try to retest it, break past the 143, and then maybe 144 to the upside. SPY, we did just have a high, but we kind of bounced off of it with a bunch of sell-offs. I think SPY really moved because Tesla, Nvidia, and I think some other stocks like Apple and stuff like that just ain't really that strong. We've been getting a decent sell-off, but we do got some strong stocks that are still moving decently to the upside. But I think we might just be going to the downside for a little bit and then probably retesting the highs maybe later on this week if we can get some good earning numbers. But with that being said, to the downside, I'll look at that 607 level to retest to the downside. And if we break past it, we can see 606, maybe even 605, and then probably even going down to 604. And then depending on how earnings go, we might even break past that 600 level if we get bad numbers from all the companies. But back up to the upside, I'll look at that 608 level once again, see if it tests, see if it breaks through. If it breaks through, 609, 610, of course, and then probably retest that 610 level, 610.5 basically. So keep that on your mind. Apple, of course, just depends on how everything goes. We got earnings coming up. So I think to the downside, I think one key level that I really want to see what happens with is 220 and see if it breaks that 220. If we could get a break of 220, we might even see definitely 219, 218, and then maybe look at that 215 level. And if we break below that, we're even more bearish. And then to the upside, if we do get either good numbers or just good news from Apple overall, or investors are just happy with it, we can see it coming past that 223 level and then that 226 level. Or sorry, it's all but we kind of tested that 226 level earlier and kind of tested it twice and didn't really break past it, so you've seen a big sell off. So at 226 level, and definitely, hopefully, I don't think we can see 230, but hopefully we can see 230 if we get some good news. So yeah, Bitcoin's looking pretty decent if it loads. The Bitcoin's still looking pretty decent. We're holding that 100K, of course, and definitely above. We're holding that 104. So we kind of broke past or tested the 104 and kind of consistently stayed above it. So we're holding that support line right now. But with that being said, I think we can maybe. I think we still need some great news with the crypto overall and just what Trump really has in plan for it. So I'm kind of just being patient for that. With that being said, we do got a lot of the stocks falling. As you can see, MSTR fell and Coinbase fell. So keep that on your mind for bearish side. But if we can see Bitcoin at a decent level, we can see Bitcoin probably come back. So keep that on your mind. One stock that held strong today was indeed Meta. So with that being said, I will look at it retesting that 652 level, but to the upside, I think we'll look at 650 first and then going up to that 652. And if we can break past that, we can see probably even more highs. So just keep that in mind. We might be making a lower high. I don't know why I said lower low, but lower high. And then we might come back and make a higher high, maybe. So keep that in mind. But Google, with the new AI and stuff coming out, we've been seeing it come up pretty consistently, but we did have a sell off. I think we're just getting a decent sell off. Market's just correcting itself for a little bit. So you might either see a decent sell off and then buyback, and or you might see a sell off and then a buyback and then a bigger or another lower high. So keep that in mind for stocks in the future. But I'm looking at that 202 level once again, retesting it, and then going up to that 2025 that it kind of didn't break past, which is kind of like 202 basically, but breaking past that 203 and then just moving up even more. The stock doesn't move that fast, but just keep that in mind for your levels and stuff like that. Hope you guys had a good trading day today. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Make daily videos, even on the weekends, telling you guys about penny stocks and everything like that. We also have a Discord. Check out those links in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.